In today's video, I'm going to reveal to you guys 3 of my best-selling print-on-demand designs of all time. Now, these are niches and designs that are making me sales every single day and have been for the past several years. Now, not only am I going to be revealing these designs to you guys, I'm also going to show you how you can make a very similar design so that you can take it and apply it to your own print-on-demand business. So let's not waste any more time and just jump right into it. Now, finding a good niche and a good design that people actually want to click on and buy on a site like Etsy or Amazon or Redbubble is one of the most challenging parts of print on demand. I'm sure many of you guys have made tens, if not hundreds of different designs. You've uploaded them and then it's like crickets. Nobody is actually purchasing your items. Well, you're definitely not alone. And I will say that I have hundreds and hundreds of designs that have never made a single sale, but some of them really just kind of rise to the top and they make up for all the rest of the designs. And a lot of times the designs that end up making sales are actually a lot simpler than many new sellers try to make. We want to make these overly complicated, really intricate designs, and we think that is going to help us stand out, but sometimes getting back to simple, basic designs is what really catches people's attention and what they want to buy. So for this first design, you're going to see just that. Now, the first type of design that has been a bestseller for several years in my print-on-demand business is in the niche of Christianity. I've shared on many lists before that things that people are passionate about make really, really good sellers. So if you can capitalize on that in some way or provide some kind of product that people interested in this want to buy, that is a gold mine. So I started making a lot of different t-shirt designs and products based around really popular Bible verses. And I did it in one of my favorite design styles ever, which is basically taking kind of a half circle sunset looking design and adding some simple white text to it, and you are ready to go. So I'm going to take you over to my design suite and we're going to get started actually making this design so I can show you exactly what it looks like and how to do that. Now, today I am over in my Kittle account, which Kittle is kindly sponsoring today's video. They are my design suite of choice when I am making new print-on-demand designs. Now, one thing that's really cool about Kittle is they have tons and tons of features for print-on-demand, but they also have hundreds and hundreds of templates that you can simply just make a few tweaks and changes and you have a design 100% ready to go. For example, this design right here is almost exactly the type of design that has been a bestseller for me with a Bible verse on it. So I'm going to actually show you how to make this completely from scratch, but if you want to even skip that step, you could start just with one of these templates here and then plug in some new text and you have a design pretty much ready to go in a style that is still so popular to this day. So let's go ahead and go up to this upper right hand corner and just click new project. That is going to bring us to a canvas that we can start working on. And one thing that's really cool on Kittle here is they have a bunch of preset sizes for different product types. So we're going to make a t-shirt today. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the t-shirt size and click create. Now, one thing that I think you guys might find really interesting is that of my top selling designs, many of them are actually made for a black t-shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and change the background color to black because we're going to continue with that theme today. I think that designs made on black t-shirts just really stand out. They look very clean online when you're trying to purchase them. And so many of the print on demand designs that I upload every single week are optimized for black t-shirts. So that is something to keep in mind whenever you are making new products. Now we are going to start out today with our graphic. So I am going to go over here to the illustrations on the sidebar and I am just going to look up something like sunset and see what we have to work with. So we have some of these kind of plain retro sunsets here. I have many, many designs that have sold with things like this, but I think that I want something a little bit more intricate and interesting. And the verse that I'm going to put on this shirt today actually has to do with mountains. So I think that something with mountains could be a really great fit. This one is pretty here, maybe a little bit too detailed for a t-shirt design, but let's look for a couple other options. This one is great as well. I also like this one, and this one's really pretty too. These two are kind of similar, but I like both of those, and they look really, really nice on this black background. I think I'm actually going to go with this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these other three. And I am just going to kind of put this in the center of my design, make it a little bit bigger, and we'll play around with the spacing a bit later. Now, the verse that I thought could go along with something like mountains is Matthew 17:20. So it says that faith can move mountains. So I am going to put some vague text right along the bottom that says something like move mountains. And then along the edge, I am going to do the full verse. So I'll show you exactly how to do that. First, I'm just going to go over to the text and I'm just going to add a headline, and I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit bigger, change it to move mountains, and I want that color to be white so it really stands out. Now, before we move on to the other text, I want to figure out the type of text I want to do down here. Now, I typically like to do something really bold, but also fun. The one that I have that sells really, really well has a very readable bold text, but it also has a little bit of interest. So let's look here and kind of just look through some of these fonts. I think something like this adventure one could be really good, or this adventure 02, maybe a little bit too detailed, but if we change this to not all caps, that might look better. That looks really cool. Maybe not as bold as I would like, so let's try this one. Okay, don't love that as much. Let's keep looking here, but if we don't find something, I think this could be a really good option. Actually, this Baroness Kuffner, that looks really, really good, so that could be another option as well. Also, this Black River is really nice. All right, I went back to this Baroness Kuffner. I think that actually looks really good. It's very readable, but it also has a little bit of texture, which looks really, really good on a t-shirt. So let's put that down here. And then we are going to add another line of text that goes right around this circle here. So I'm just going to duplicate that and then write the rest of the verse here. So faith can, Matthew 17:20. Now, right now, this doesn't look super good. It's just two straight lines of text, but we can actually curve this to make it fit right around this illustration, and that is going to look really good. So let's go down here to where it says transformation. We're going to click that, and we are going to push circle. Now, it's going to format it pretty well to fit this circle here, but we can make it even a little bit tighter by moving the bottom of this up. So let's do that. That looks pretty good, but I want this to be a little bit more spaced out. So I am going to go right here to the letter spacing, and I'm going to start with 50, see how that looks. You know what? I think I want it even more. So I'm going to do 75, and then I am going to just make this a little bit closer in here. That looks really good to me. And then once the spacing looks good, I'm just going to make it so it takes up as much of this canvas as possible, because I think that it truly does sell designs if they take up almost all of the space that you're given. Many of my bestsellers, including this type, are very, very big. They aren't just a small design at the top of the shirt. They really take up the entire shirt. That looks good. I'm just going to make this bottom text slightly bigger, and then let's go ahead and see what that would look like. So we can, over on the right hand side, click mockup, and it's going to show us how it would look on a t-shirt and give us mockups that we could actually use. That looks really, really good and is a design that definitely would sell. Now, you could take this exact same concept and you could do other types of motivational phrases or things that people are passionate about, but just make sure that you aren't getting too broad. What I like about this specific type of niche is that people can look for a t-shirt about faith can move mountains, and it's something people are really actually looking for. And again, things that people are passionate about, those are what tends to make money. So people are very passionate about their religion. They are going to buy items to show that off. So this makes it a great niche. Now, you could take the same concept and do it to many other niches as well, but this is a really, really easy design style, and it's made me so many sales. All right, now the next design that has been a bestseller in my print on demand store for the last few years takes a little bit of a different direction, but it is in one of my favorite styles. Now, the design and niche that has sold so well is a fall-inspired phrase in that retro kind of groovy font with a little bit of a wave. Now, this has been a really, really popular style, and early on, I kind of capitalized on putting this on a ton of different niches, and specifically one shirt in the fall category did super well. So I'm going to show you exactly how to make a fall design kind of in this groovy style all the way from scratch. So let's go back to Kittle and click on new project. And again, we're just going to click the t-shirt size and create. And then once again, this design happened to be a bestseller on a black t-shirt. So we're going to change the canvas color to black, but it totally would work for another color as well. And the first thing we're going to do is add the text. So I'm going to add a headline here and change that to white just so we can see it a little bit better. Now, this fall design just kind of listed out a few different fall activities and things for the fall. So I'm going to do that right here and just list out things. So I was thinking like there's crisp air, reading books, cozy sweaters, campfires, pumpkin spice, golden leaves, really a ton of options. But I think that I might start with something like pumpkin spice, a true classic for fall t-shirts. And then let's do cozy sweaters. And then last one, let's do golden leaves. I think that could be cute. Okay, right now this doesn't really look like anything except a list on a black sheet of paper. So where the magic really comes in on this is choosing the right font and using Kittle's warp features to actually transform this into that groovy, wavy style. Kittle really makes it super easy to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and select this text here, and I am going to change the text to one of my favorite groovy styles. It's called Sunny Drop. There's a lot of other options for fonts on here, but I think this one works perfectly. And then before we start kind of transforming and warping this, what I like to do is just make all of the fonts about the same size. So I'm just adjusting all of these. That looks pretty good. Now, this on its own could be really cute, but what we're going to do is we are going to warp this. So I am going to take this first line of text. I'm going to go down to where it says transformation, and then I am going to pick distort. So there's lots of options on here, but distort just lets you do a lot more on your own. So all I'm going to do on this first line of text is take this second dot from the end right here, and I'm going to lift it up. So that's going to make kind of the bottom of the pumpkin go down and the top of the spice go up. Now for cozy sweaters, again, I'm just going to go ahead and click distort. But this one, I am going to pull the top up here, and then I'm going to pull the bottom up as well. So it makes kind of a wave. And then for golden leaves, we're going to do the opposite of what we did at the top. We're just going to pull this top part right here. Now, sometimes people, they want to make all of the text wavy like this, but the key to making this look really, really cute is you want to keep it all kind of in a rectangle shape, but just have the letters distorted within. So you can do that exact same thing with more lines of text. You just repeat that process. Now, this is looking super, super cute, but the next thing we're going to do is just add a few little elements in here to give it a fall theme and kind of spice it up. So I think we definitely need a couple pumpkins on here for the fall theme, for the pumpkin spice. So I'm just going to look up pumpkin in Kittle's illustrations, and I just want a really simple one. They have these pretty intricate designs here, but this isn't really the vibe that I'm going for. I'm going for more like cutesy and simple. So actually just this like plain pumpkin right here is perfect. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller and just kind of put it in the corner here. And then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that and put another one up at the top. Now it's going to start coming together. At first it kind of looks a little bit sparse, but we're going to keep adding stuff. Now for kind of that pumpkin spice, I think we should put like a coffee cup. That could be really cute. Let's see. I really like this one here. So let's see if there's anything better. We could do like an actual coffee cup, but I think maybe I like this, just like the traditional coffee cup, a little bit better. So let's add that to the bottom here. That is super cute. And don't worry, we're going to change the colors on all these elements to make them a little bit more cohesive at the end. Now, the next thing, I think I want to add some leaves, kind of in tribute to what we said here. Let's look up fall leaves specifically. Okay, I think that this maple leaf is really cute. We can add that by this pumpkin up here. And then maybe this one down at the bottom. This yellow leaf is super cute. Okay, it's already coming together pretty well, but I think it still needs a little something to tie it all together. Now, you probably wouldn't think to add this to a fall t-shirt, but I add it to so many of my more cutesy girly designs, and it really just pulls everything together. And that is to add some kind of like sparkle illustrations. So something like this works like perfectly just scattered around. So I'm going to kind of duplicate that. This one, I'm going to go to more options. I'm going to flip it horizontal, maybe make it a little smaller. And then I'm going to take take like some individual sparkles and just kind of scatter those around. So this looks cute here. Let's add another one up here. Turn these. All right, I'm loving how this is turning out, but it definitely needs a little bit of help in the color department. So let's work on that next. I like this pumpkin, but I think that we could do kind of more of like a peachy orange that's a little bit softer. Like that looks really cute. So we'll do this color the exact same. And then for kind of the lines through it, I'm going to change those to black. In this leaf, I'm going to do like that same orangey color. And then the sparkles, I'm actually going to change them all to white just to make it a little bit more cohesive. And then this coffee cup, I'm also going to change to. And actually, a couple of these sparkles, maybe I'll change to that pink color to just keep kind of that like sweet, girly, groovy theme. That looks cute. All right, and then it is pretty much ready to go. So let's go ahead and look at what this would look like on a t-shirt. So we're going to click mock-up. Then this is what it would look like on a t-shirt. Super, super cute. This would also look adorable on like a sweatshirt. But this same concept you can take for all sorts of other fall designs with a groovy twist, or you can use this same kind of groovy concept and make it for tons of other niches as well. But this design type has made me so much profit. It makes sales every single day. So really one that you want to have in your back pocket. Now, this next design style is probably the easiest one of them all, but I've made more sales in this specific design type than probably almost every other design type combined. And it is just simply taking a t-shirt and putting some textured block text on it with like a funny phrase or something that people are passionate about. And the niche that has sold in this design for me so well has to do with a very specific niche holiday, something that's not like a big holiday like Christmas or Valentine's Day, but like a specific national day that has to do with a small group of people. So I'm going to show you an example of exactly what I mean by this. Now, if you guys have never seen this before, I actually have a free cross-nation guidebook that is a guide for coming up with over 40,000 different niche ideas. You can get it free by signing up down below for the workshop that I have. It's going to kind of give you a video walkthrough of how to use this method for finding niches, but it's also going to send you a copy of this free guidebook. But basically, this has a ton of different categories from careers, hobbies, people's interests, people's pets, tons of different things that people are passionate about. But what I really like is the holiday guide. So it's going to give you month by month some really fun holiday ideas to work on. Now, I typically like to be looking a couple months in advance to where we are now and making designs for those holidays coming up. Now, an example of like a huge holiday would be something like Independence Day or 4th of July. If you just try to make a design in this design style for something so saturated like 4th of July, you are probably not going to make sales because there's tons of other people. But if you go for a very more niche down specific holiday that maybe a lot of people don't even know about except those who kind of think it's funny or celebrate it, you can have the potential to make a lot more sales. So like in August, we have coming up Left-Handers Day. So I'm going to show you how to take that holiday and make it with this really easy, bold design to make a product that could make you so many sales this year. So let's go back over to Kittle and just start working on this. All right, so once again, I'm just going to click on a new project. And then if you didn't guess already, I am actually going to change the background color to be black. But this design style, it works really well for other bold colored t-shirts. So I've made tons of them for red t-shirts or like your dark blue t-shirt. And with white text, this is really going to stand out. So I'm going to show you what I mean here. So just like the other ones, we're going to start by adding our text in the color white. And for this design, I wanted to kind of do like a funny sarcastic phrase for that Left-Handers Day. So I came up with something like, I'm left-handed, but I'm always right. Those kind of like snarky, sarcastic shirts sell really well on both Etsy and Amazon. But if you just make a generic like sarcastic, funny shirt, that is not going to be able to compete very well. But if you make like a funny, sarcastic shirt about something as specific as being left-handed, you have a way better chance of actually making sales. And these designs that I have that sell really well are just a testament to that. So I'm just going to start typing this in a few different lines of text because basically the text is going to take up the entire print area. All right, so I put all of this text right here. It says I'm left-handed, but I'm always right. And I typically like to keep the text pretty similar in size. We're going to line it all up so it's like a perfect rectangle in a second here, but you don't want to just do like a full line that says I'm and then left is the next line. You want to kind of balance it out out. So short words go together and then you can have a longer word by itself. And I really wouldn't go beyond 5 lines of text. You want to keep it short enough that it is easy to read and is going to look balanced. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to pick a font. So I'm going to go over to the text styles and I'm going to look up the word textured. Another good word is like distressed or like grunge or faded. Those look really, really good. And then I want to make sure and pick something that is very bold. So actually the text that we used for our other design, this Baroness font, that could be a potential option, but I'm going to pick something a little bit different for this one. This insect moksha, that looks like it could be a really good option. So let's pick that. And I kind of like the tire shreds here for the texture. That's very, very fun and interesting, and it's easy to read, which is the most important thing for this type of design. Now I'm just going to line these up here, the edge. This is just going to help us get the spacing right. Okay, and then I'm just going to match the spacing for all of these letters. So some of the text is going to be slightly bigger than others, but we just want it to line up so it's a rectangle, not so it goes in with all of the different lengths of letters. All right, so that is looking good, and I'm just going to go ahead and make this so it takes up as much of the canvas as possible and then move it to the middle here. And we pretty much have a design that is ready to go. So let's go ahead and look at what it would look like on a mock-up, right? And that looks really, really good. But you can see that you could put this also on like a red t-shirt and it would also stand out really well. Same thing if you did like a blue t-shirt. That would look really, really good. The biggest thing is you want really high contrast between the t-shirt color and the letters because that is going to help you get seen and make sales. Now, any of those designs you can take and run with using a similar niche or a totally different niche and using the exact style that I showed you or kind of making some of your own tweaks. And like I mentioned, Kittle also has tons of templates that are very, very similar to what we made from scratch here. So if you want to browse around those and see if there's one that you could make an even quicker process, you could do that too. But like I said at the beginning, you don't have to overcomplicate designs that are going to sell well. Most of my bestsellers are way, way simpler than you would think, and many of them didn't even take me very long to make. And if you want even more ideas for some really great products to design this summer as we're heading into the busy print-on-demand season of fall and winter, I highly recommend watching this video next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.